which case that impressed you the most from the origin of the change.org?
I think the demonstration of the sort of most impressive power early on was actually around corporate campaigning. It was Bank of America. It's the largest bank in America and one of the biggest in the world, and they decided to add a $5 fee to use your own bank card on a monthly basis, and it frustrated a huge number of people that normally wouldn't be able to do anything about it. But a 22-year-old part-time nanny, this woman named Molly Catchpool, she's working 2 jobs, she doesn't have the money to pay this, she's frustrated. She starts a petition on a whim, ends up getting 300,000 people to join her, to condemn Bank of America, gets thousands of them to go offline, to protest, to pull their money out of Bank of America, gets huge media exposures all over national press for weeks. And after about a month of campaigning, in which she is everywhere on TV, the biggest bank in the country changed its policy, retracts the $5 fee, as do every other national bank in the US that was also considering the same fee. It's an incredible demonstration of how everyday people can do extraordinary things.
Was that the case that most surprised you?
Yeah, actually, this is the first campaign that surprised us. We didn't think a 22-year-old nanny without a full-time job could actually help to change the policy of one of the biggest companies in the country. But since then, this happens all the time, where there are campaigns that get started that we think we're skeptical of, we don't think they can actually win, and they'll have this incredible impact in ways that are totally unexpected. There's a campaign actually in Indonesia that happened about a month ago, where KPK, an anti-corruption commission, was being attacked by the police. In fact, one of the commission officers was arrested, was sort of put in a cell to prevent them from actually investigating the police corruption. And then there's a person who's actually a daughter of a president, starts a petition calling on the police to stop, to actually pull back and to respect the commission. And we didn't think it was actually going to win, and then 10,000 people joined right away, 15,000, organizes protests offline, huge, actually human shield when the cops go to try to arrest some of the more, the officials in the anti-corruption department end up getting blocked by a human shield, and the president 2 days afterwards comes out and supports the social media effort in defense of the Anti-Corruption Commission. This is an incredible campaign. And so this happens on a regular basis, where everyday people and sort of people power surprises us.
That was the case in Indonesia.
Yeah.
And also there was a case of India also, the anti-corruption.
We've seen this happen a lot in India, not at a national level. There's been protests over the past year, but national legislation. But what's most exciting that we see are local wins, right, from the grassroots, from the ground up. And there's an engineering student earlier this year who in Bihar, India, goes to renew his driver's license, and he gets asked for a bribe, as often happens. He refuses, and then gets beat up by the 2 officials. And normally the story would end there, but he actually records the incident on his mobile phone, and a good friend of his takes it and starts a petition on Change.org asking the district collector, their boss, to step in and to end the corruption. And look, this is an everyday experience. It wasn't a surprise to anybody, but what was a surprise was the public shame that district collector would face, because 440 local people signed the petition, gets some media exposure locally. They called the district magistrate and embarrass the collector in public, and because of that, in reaction, he actually apologizes. He suspends the 2 officials. He passes a small commission inside the department to root out corruption and makes this public commitment. It's an amazing demonstration of just everyday people starting small campaigns that lead to broader change, because in reaction to that, it wasn't just 1, but then 2, and then 10, and now dozens, and soon hundreds of people around India starting local campaigns on individual acts of corruption.
There was a campaign asking you for a change also, right?
So there's a lot of people that ask me personally, Ben, for changes. Some of them are users who ask for new features, and some are staff members. We have 170 staff. And one of the campaigns that won about a year ago was my staff was frustrated that we had big jugs of water that were sort of brought in by major trucks that were not healthy for the environment. And I get petitioned by someone on the team to change this, to make it more sustainable, to use a plug right in the drain system in the office. And we were busy, we were doing a lot of change, a lot of good, and I figured this wasn't a big deal until he sends this out to the entire staff, and staff starts signing and starts spreading it on Facebook and Twitter, and my mom sees it on Facebook, and a bunch of people tweet it out. And so after about 6 hours of campaigning, I ended up giving in, and I decided to change the policy and to actually get new water that was sustainable. It was a great illustration of even people at Change.org can be influenced by petitions.
Oh, it was only 6 hours, right?
6 hours. You see this happen on a regular basis. Well, issues that people have been trying to fight for a long time. There's a case actually in Thailand. There was a 32-year-old mom who regularly would travel with her son up northeast on charter bus, and found that she was frustrated because there was violent films all the time on this bus. She would write letters and not get a response. But it was in a few days of starting a petition on Change.org that was joined by many people to ask the CEO of the bus company to remove the violent films, that things changed, that he actually made a public commitment to do this. And so it's a really exciting dynamic of things that used to take years or months will now take days and sometimes just hours.
What is the uniqueness of the campaigners in Thailand?
I think what's unique, what we've seen and are really excited about, is it's not always just about politics. It's not about divisive actions that are really controversial. It's about just everyday issues that impact people's lives. One of the campaigns that recently won on the site was around potholes in the city. There's there's metal grates that are over the potholes that are damaged, and because of that, they're ruining tires of bikes. And this has been attempted to be fixed for about a year. But a bike coalition started a petition asking the local government to fix these. And it was only after a couple days, in direct response to this, that there's an announcement this is going to happen because of this petition in large part, as well as the great organizing that was happening around it. And this isn't a huge issue of social justice, isn't the kind of thing that is changing government, but it's a way that's changing local people's lives and leads to small change every day.
Do you think campaigners in Asia are different from the Westerners? Could you please compare, for example, the Thai campaigners and people in the Southeast Asia or in Japan?
Yeah, so I think one of the differences we're seeing culturally is just the behavior of people and their engagement in civil discourse. So I think in Japan, for example, there's much more of a sense of kind of community and desire to not stand out, to not necessarily criticize too aggressively authorities or other people. I was thinking in civil societies that are much more actively engaged in disagreement, that have a lot of history of social movements and civil kind of participation, you end up having a lot more kind of direct asks for change. I think in Thailand you see this where there's a much more direct desire to ask for change than there might be in other countries because of that history of social engagement.
What are your plans for the Change.org in Thailand?
So there's two things we're really focused on. One is we're building out the team. Somebody who joined the team about just 3-4 months ago. We're 4,000 users in Thailand, and has helped build the operation and spread the word, and more than 150,000 members now on the site. And so building out support structure and actually helping people run campaigns. And the second thing is building better tools and technology. Right now we have a very strong petition tool, but want to build the ability to take that petition, to make it even easier to organize offline, to reach out to the press, and to go mobile, to use all the tools that we have on mobile phones. And so those are the two things I think will help to go from 150,000 people to many more hundreds of thousands of people in the next few months.
As the world and people's mindset changes a lot, do you think this kind of campaign will die down in 5 years or something?
I think this type of campaigning, this ability for everyday people to come together to advance their common interests, is just getting started. It will become a fundamental fabric of civil society, a part of how we expect civil participation to occur. So it's not a fad, it's not temporary, it's not going away. It's actually changing the way people engage in politics, in local environments, in business, and that's, I think, what we're most excited about. It doesn't start in a country and then wither away and decline. It actually starts and expands dramatically and changes the way people see themselves and their own power and ability to make a difference.
Do you think such campaigning can cause the people to be more assertive but tend to have conflicts against each other?
I think what we're seeing that's exciting is we are certainly seeing people become more assertive, feel like they have power in a way they didn't before, and want to stand up for their rights. But what's exciting about it is the kind of campaigns that happen around this, the kind that bring lots of people together. They're on basic issues that seem to be unjust, and the campaigns that we're seeing in India and Indonesia around corruption, they're having people be much more assertive. But it's not against each other. It's actually against a plague that most people agree with. It's just difficult to root out. And that's what's exciting to us, is using petitions and social media to organize people and make them feel more connected and powerful together.